Day says, a fine day to not be nuked. Good morning, everybody. It's a little earlier than we usually do the brief. It's not quite 6 a.m. Central Time. This lighting makes me look like one of the dwarves from Lord of the Rings. I should be below the earth mining for copper and gold and silver and thorium and other interesting things at the moment, but instead we're sitting in the truck about to do the brief because I am going to have a very busy day based upon what the storms did last night. Good morning to everybody in the chat. You in a spider hole? What's up, comfortably numb? No, I'm in a 3/4 ton pickup truck. Notice I said not a 1-ton pickup truck because the 1-ton pickup truck is still down. Shall we drink coffee? Let's drink coffee. Good morning. Oh, praise Yah for coffee. All right, let's see if we can bang this thing out. What do you guys think? I think we can do it, Bear. All right, let's do it. I saw a 5x5. Who done did that? Tim Hansen? Bop, 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 doo da, bibby da, bop. Bear Brief 7MAY24. After filing a complaint with the Federal Aviation Administration about the 737 MAX, another Boeing whistleblower has been found deleted. The healthy, active, church-going 45-year-old Joshua Dean said that there was, quote, serious and gross misconduct by senior quality management at the 737 production line, end quote, at Spirit Airlines. In December of last year, he had testified in a shareholder lawsuit against Spirit Aerosystems that the company, quote, had concealed from investors that Spirit suffered from widespread and sustained quality failures, end quote. Boo. Multiple thumbs down. Yeah, recently, after contracting influenza B, MRSA, medically resistant Staphylococcus aureus, and pneumonia, and spending, because all that happens at the same time, naturally, and spending 2 weeks in critical condition in the hospital, he done died. He went belly up. It was his first time in a hospital, his mother said. Makes total sense. Logical. Try harder, government agents, when you delete people. Military industrial complex people, when you delete people. Just try harder. Like, it's not even believable, right? First time in his hospital, according to his madre. She also noted, quote, the doctor said he'd never seen anything like it before in his life. His lungs were just totally gummed up and like a mesh over them, end quote. Spirit emailed a statement. Aw, at least they were being thoughtful. Emailed a statement saying, quote, our thoughts are with Josh Dean's family. This sudden loss is stunning news here at Spirit and for his loved ones, end quote. First of all, syntax doesn't even make sense in that statement. Second of all, an email? You emailed. Okay, that's thoughtful. Dean had said after being fired for flagging improperly drilled holes in fuselages, quote, I think they were sending out a message to anybody else. If you are too loud, we will silence you, end quote. The first whistleblower to be deleted was John Barnett, a 62-year-old man who was found belly up in his truck in a South Carolina hotel parking lot just a few months ago from an apparent self-inflicted gunshot wound. This was right before he was to resume his testimony against Boeing. According to local news, he had told a close family friend to not believe what the authorities would say if he was found dead, and to not believe any reports of his self-deletion, saying, quote, I ain't scared, but if anything happens to me, it is not suicide, end quote. Boeing's responding statement from the news of his death, quote, we are saddened by Mr. Barnett's passing, and our thoughts are with his family and friends. Our thoughts. Not even our thoughts and prayers. Notice that? And no, they don't pray anymore. I hit a button I should not have hit because my thumbs are gigantic. The two dead, Joshua Dean and John Barnett, are among at least 12 total whistleblowers that have come forward about Boeing's corner cutting in the making of its aircraft. One of those still living is Sam Salapour, a quality engineer who was told by his boss after bringing up safety issues in a meeting attended by senior executives, quote, "I would have killed someone who said what you said in a meeting," end quote. Foreshadowing? Dun dun dun. I like the way this lighting makes my mustache look. It's pretty intense. What do you guys think? That's an intense mustache, Bear. Oh, did you tune in for like news and thoughtful commentary? Sorry, I'm barely awake. Boeing has said, quote, "We encourage all employees to speak up when issues arise. That way we know who to schwack. Retaliation is strictly prohibited at Boeing. However, we will absolutely use cutouts to smash you in the face," end quote. Some of that might have been ad-libbed. Though it's not clearly the impression of any of the whistleblowers at Boeing or Spirit that they have received that they've been encouraged to speak up. In other news, you may have heard there's a little internationally funded by, I don't know, George Soros-ish cabal reptilian overlords, maybe the aliens that put the Black Pyramid between or below the surface of the earth in Alaska, 60 miles to the east of Mount McKinley. I don't know. We don't know. Protests are continuing to simmer in the United States. Yeah, a bunch of these freaking indoctrination centers, aka colleges and universities, are like canceling events now. What's up, Brandon? Shalom, shaloha, bro. Yeah, they're canceling a lot of their live events because it's just not safe. Oh, so you allowed a bunch of children to have a temper tantrum, which then attracted the attention of professional protesters, which are funded by the international cabal, which is providing all of these protests all across North America with the exact same humanitarian aid because they're spontaneous grassroots uprisings, even though they all have the same tents. Shut up, I'm awake, phone. Jeez Louise. That's my do shit alarm. They all have the same tents. They've all got the same sleeping bags. They've all got the same water bottles all across the country. Coincidence, I'm sure. I'm positive. Because we all know that these hippy-dippy freaks who are being indoctrinated at these schools all shop at the same place, all have the same amount of money. You know what I mean? There's nothing going on here. Nothing to see. In the last week, at least 22 of the air quote top universities in the country experienced protests against Israel. Why do the Biden regime sycophants want to forgive student loan debt to continue to buy off these useful idiots in the currently socialist, soon-to-be communist regime of the United States of America? It's my guess. Because more or less, these people tend to politically trend in the direction of moron, which is typically represented by the Democratic Party. I mean, it is an ass, after all. Now, don't get me wrong. If you're a fan of the Oliphants, those people are scumbags too. There's just two wings of the same shitty bird. We have a uniparty in the United States of America composed of asses and Oliphants, and neither one of them has done anything meaningful in my lifetime to preserve the liberties that I was given by the Creator and that our constitutional founders protected with a written document that's supposed to determine what the government can and can't do. But you know, if you used to work for the Clintons and maybe you're getting a little lippy, then all of a sudden the ATF shows up and totally shoots you in the face, bro. because my freedoms. Or you work for a company that's absolutely entrenched in the military-industrial complex, and that company's products is literally falling out of the sky, and you say, hey guys, there might be a problem here, and they're like, oops, you got deleted. What a quinkydink. What an accident. Or let's say you become the youngest president ever in the United States of America, and you start talking about getting back on the gold standard because the devaluation of the fiat currency that is the US dollar has gotten to the point where at some point it's going to tank the economy. And then you get shot in the back of the head by some dude in Dealey Plaza, but you actually got shot in the face first by a known mafia hitman wearing a Dallas PD uniform from the grassy knoll. And then your little brother gets shot too. And then his buddy, Martin Luther King Jr., you might have heard of him, who was also talking about getting back on the gold standard, is co-opted with women and then shot as well, all in a short span of time. Very likely by the CIA, who was pissed off by the Bay of Pigs thing. But you know, my freedoms, everything's fine. It's fine. It's good. No worries. Let's go fight the government. And take it back. I got my AR-15. I got a airsoft smoke bomb. I got one canteen. 19 magazines is gonna be fine. Yeah, I got one of them tourniquet things, and it's fine. It's gonna be okay. Let's go. I can walk almost 2 miles in my full kit. I'm ready to fight the government. In the last week, at least 22 of the air quote top universities in the country have experienced protests against Israel, which, make no mistake, the nation state of Israel over there in the Middle East and the Israel of the Bible, not the same thing. Oh, I said the quiet part out loud. Not the same thing. No. The nation state of Israel is a secular nation that does not mention the creator of the universe one single time in its founding documents. 75% of the people that live there are non-religious, non-observant. They don't believe in the creator of the universe. And Tel Aviv, if you're a homosexual, it's the place to be, because we all know that the Bible totally doesn't say that a man laying with another man is an abomination, right? That shit's good to go. So clearly, the nation state of Israel that was put in place post-World War II by the British, essentially, in 1947, to create a place for European Jews to go to have an air quote homeland after the whole, you know, Nazification thing of Germany, roughly 1933 to 1945. That clearly is the exact same thing as the Father's chosen people from Genesis 32 in the Bible, because all indicators line up. But I digress. Robert Reich, speaking of the Germans, Robert Reich wrote an opinion piece for The Guardian saying that the protests are against the slaughter of the innocent. Wah. And to characterize them as anti-this or pro-that is to miss the entire point. He also wrote that, quote, like any protest movement, the actions have attracted a few on the fringe. Do you mean funded by a few on the fringe, and then literally thousands of people who are professional protesters are being bussed in order to foment civil unrest in the United States of America because a house divided against itself cannot stand, and therefore will have more political bread and circuses to keep the Oliphant and the ass people fighting one another so that they don't realize that both the Oliphants and the ass people are absolutely fleecing the people of the United States of America, and the realized taxation rate is somewhere between 50 and 70%. Devaluation of the dollar somewhere between 35 and 50% over the last 10 years. And we have 2, soon to be 3 global wars, and your children are being indoctrinated in school. And the most popular president in history, asterisk, is probably a robot, definitely a pedophile, and absolutely has Alzheimer's. And the former president of the United States of America is being prosecuted for everything under the sun simply to keep him out of the upcoming presidential race. Sure, that's totally what this guy from The Guardian said, because he knows a thing or two. I have heard, continuing his quote, I've heard scattered reports of anti-Semitism although I haven't witnessed or heard anything that might be interpreted as anti-Semitic, even though the House is now the House has passed, now gone to the Senate, HR 6090, which basically says, based upon the International Holocaust Museum standards, that you can no longer criticize Judah, Yahudim, or anything that has anything to do with the Jews at all, which is a sliding scale which now allows some organization outside of the United States of America to determine what anti-Semitism is, and using their floating definition, police your speech here in the United States of America, up to and including not being able to read the Gospels in the Bible to say that the Jews had anything to do with the crucifixion of Messiah, even though very clearly a certain sect of the Pharisees, the Yahudim, a portion of them handed Messiah over to Pontius Pilate, who was the government, by the way, and he was inspected according to the Gospel of Luke by not only Pontius Pilate, but King Herod. Herod goes, I see no fault with this man. Pilate says, I see no fault with this man. I will release him to you, as is tradition during the Feast of Unleavened Bread. And the Yahudim scream, we don't want him back. You impale him, Messiah. We want Barabbas, the zealot, who has murdered and who has caused a political uprising in the city, Jerusalem. We want that guy back. And then they impale Messiah. Now, it was to fulfill all righteousness. It was to make an atoning sacrifice for your sins so that you'd have a covering blood so you could come home again, which is why Messiah says, no man takes my life, I lay it down freely. But you couldn't have that conversation in the United States of America if HR 6090 is passed by the Senate and becomes law of the land based upon the sliding scale of what anti-Semitism is from the International Holocaust Museum Organization. Kiss my hairy white ass. How's that? Oh, Barry, you're an Israel shill. No, you're a moron. Hang around and get some context on who I am before you make a judgment call. Continuing. In fact, a significant number of the protesters are Jewish, end quote. Are they? That's cool. Like, Jewish like the people group or Jewish like observant? Like, let me see them tassels, bro. Number 1537. The Hill relayed some of the phrases at the protests. Quote, Hamas, we love you. We support your rockets too. End quote. And burn Tel Aviv to the ground, end quote. End quote. Al-Qassam, you make us proud. Take another soldier out, end quote. Who comes up with this bullshit anyway? According to the New York Police Department, about 40% of the rioters at the Columbia protests specifically may actually be outside agitators, not alligators. Read that word properly. These protests were described as being funded by, quote, a well-organized entity of far-left Democrat radical groups domestically. It is well-funded and well-organized, end quote. You think? Representative Elise Stefanik told Fox News before adding that, quote, there is a foreign funding piece that is very important that we get to the bottom of, end quote. No shit, Elise, you think? Wow. I'm glad we have people of this mental caliber out there representing us and our interests. The United States House of Representatives has just passed a bill that would expand the federal definition of anti-Semitism. The definition that would be codified will be the same as the International Holocaust Remembrance Alliance, which asserts that anti-Semitism is, quote, a certain perception of Jews which may be expressed as hatred towards Jews. Rhetorical and physical manifestations of anti-Semitism are directed towards Jewish or non-Jewish individuals. Don't get me wrong, I love Elder Brother Judah, but I don't blindly support the nation state of Israel. And Elder Brother Judah, your younger brother Ephraim, us, those in the diaspora who have been grafted into the tree of life, Romans 11:16, we are praying for you. And when Messiah returns, we will recognize him for the second time. You will recognize him for the first time, and there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth when you realize that you have aligned yourself for the last 2 millennia on the wrong side of the argument. But that's okay. It's all part of a divine plan that I can only grasp a little bit of. For any reason, you don't get to police my speech. For any reason. If we can't speak truth and love to one another, how are we supposed to Matthew 18 rebuke one another in love, reprove and instruct one another in love. Oh, I know, we'll just be Canada, where you're not even allowed to read the Bible in public anymore. Oh, wait a minute, that shit's gay. He says, wearing his Snowbird Iridium shirt, my brother from Canada, whom I love. No, Bear, you're supposed to have very basic opinions, and I'm supposed to be able to force you into a box so that I can quantify who you are so that I can pass judgment on you. Or, refer to my previous statement, kiss my hairy white ass. A certain perception of Jews, which may be expressed as hatred towards Jews, rhetorical and physical manifestations of anti-Semitism are directed towards Jewish or non-Jewish individuals and or their property, towards Jewish community institutions and religious facilities, end quote. Now, is there anti-Semitism taking place in the world today? Sure. Are synagogues being targeted by psychopaths? Yup. Are churches being targeted by psychopaths? Yup. Didn't some dude just get stabbed in the face in Australia during a live stream? Yup. Was it in Ohio, I think it was, that another guy with an air quote mental illness who was known to authorities showed up during a church service live streaming and tried to shoot the pastor in the face? Yup. Okay. What about anti-Americanism? What about anti-meism? So whenever we see bullshit anywhere, we should call it out. It's not just anti-Semitism, it's anti-humanism, anti-peopleism. I'm not a big L libertarian. I think running Gary Johnson was one of the dumbest things that the party ever did. But I'm a little L libertarian. Non-aggression principle, leave me the hell alone, and I will leave you the hell alone. You do whatever you want to do inside of your fences and your gates, and I'm going to do whatever I want to do. Good morning, Dana. Inside of my fences and my gates. And as long as I'm not actually bothering you, and speech is not violence, violence is violence. This is violence. Words are not. The sticks and stones may break my bones, but words shall never hurt me. Remember that? Yeah. That's because we gave every 4-year-old a cell phone and 92 different vaccinations before they were 60 months old, and then put them in woke indoctrination ideological centers and raised them up as a bunch of friggin' pussies instead of letting them fight it out on the playground, like when I was a kid, right? Sticks and stones may break my bones, but words will never hurt me. Not anymore. Now words are aggression. So you have to police my speech so that I don't aggress against somebody. That's bullshit. You go stand on your piece of land and say and do whatever you want to do. And I'm going to stand on my piece of land and say and do whatever I want to do. And as long as we're not actually bothering each other, we're not launching mortars at each other, I'm not cutting your timber, you're not stealing my sheep, you're not poisoning my wells, I'm not spraying petrochemicals into the clouds above your property, let's leave each other the hell alone. And maybe focus on the things that make us the same, not the little tiny 2% of things that make us different. We all breathe air in and out. We all push blood round and round. We're all created by the creator of the universe. Some of us know it, some of it don't. I think most of us want to have progeny and legacy and do meaningful, fulfilling work while we're here. Cool. How you do that, I don't care. I even, being a biblical literalist, if you and your 19 boyfriends want to hang out on your property, you do you, boo. I don't care. Now, I'm not going to invite you over for Bible study until you fix some shit, but I don't care. And you shouldn't care that I'm over here reading the Bible and taking it literally. See what I mean? Who cares? Who actually cares? Which I think, completely spiraling away from the brief at this point. Who cares? I think there's almost an element here of we don't have real existential problems anymore, and the ones that we do have, nobody's paying attention to. So there's nothing, no cause to really rally around, right? I don't know if you guys know this, but the robots may actually try and kill us sometime in the near future. But we're worried about climate change. If climate change was real, why do banks keep lending money to oceanfront property? Shop stuff. Good thing this is a coffee time with Bear, not a Bear brief, right? Exactly. Who cares about the brief? But we have make-believe existential crises, but the ones that could actually kill us, nobody pays attention to. And therefore, as a species, we're no longer universally motivated towards self-preservation. You want proof of that? We have a medical system that's willingly making eunuchs out of people who have mental problems. Oh, said another one of the quiet things out loud. This House of Representatives bill would also include, quote, the targeting of the state of Israel conceived as Jewish collectivity, which it is not. Repeat, it is not. Unless its criticism is similar to that issued against any other country. It is understood that the goal of this legislation would be to, quote, chill free speech of students on college campuses by incorrectly equating criticism of the Israeli government with anti-Semitism, end quote, according to a letter to the House from the American Civil Liberties Union. And of course, if you're on Patreon, you got all the relevant links, and if you're not, sucks to be you. Link in the description. Now, speaking of the nation state of Israel, they were supposed to have a ceasefire with their frenemies over there, Hamas, and that didn't quite work out. It seems like Israel was like, hey man, let's like stop killing each other, and they were like, sounds good. And then so they Hamas quietly accepted the terms of the peace offer, and then quietly rejected the peace offer a day later. So that Israel attacked, since they no longer have a ceasefire. And then Hamas was like, but wait, they gave us a ceasefire. Oh, look, Israel's a bunch of D-bags. Politics, bro. So that happened anyway. And allegedly there's supposed to be a large military operation taking place in Rafah in the near future, that could be being kind of the Gaza stronghold at this point. And they're trying to figure out, they being the Israelis, trying to figure out how do we move about 1 million people out of Rafah so we can limit civilian casualties, which is best of luck. Best of luck, bro. Our good friend Vladimir Putin, somehow, inexplicably, I mean, it's an absolute miracle, was reelected to a 5th term in Russia. Coincidence, I'm sure. I mean, he got 70% of the vote, which is amazing because he's a wildly popular president who's done a great job for the last 24 years. Russian presidential term is 6 years. So he just got elected to a 5th term. So we can expect, barring any extraneous bullshit, another 6 years of shenanigans out of Russia for the time being, which kind of dovetails nicely into the very quiet, don't talk about it too loud, attempt to fund the Ukraine war from the American taxpayer for the next 10 years. Exhibit C, kiss my hairy white ass. Okay? No. I have businesses and ministries to run. I have a house to finish building. I have children to raise. I have sheep to graze. I am tired of giving 70% of my income to the friggin' government. That me personally, the only thing the federal government does for me is national defense. I'll give you 10% for national defense. But the rest of this bullshit, I'm out. There were some gigantic storms last night in north central Oakley-Dokley. This morning, we have people who are out on recon in the Barnsdall and Bartlesville area. The rumor is there was a tornado that was 1.5 miles wide on the ground for at least 30 miles, throwing debris into the air based upon radar signature at least 30,000 feet into the air. Initial reports are a minimum of an EF3 that'll probably be upgraded in the daylight, which is just happening right now. And it's looking pretty gruesome and ugly. So we being grindstoneministries.com, will have people out there putting eyeballs on it pretty quick. We also still have people in the Ardmore / Marietta, Oklahoma area, and we need help down there. So if you would like to assist in any way, you want to bring your hands and feet, your chainsaws, your roofing nailers, your framing guns, your whatever, nail guns, YouTube, simmer the hell down. Email, please, admin at Grindstone Ministries, admin at Grindstone Ministries, admin at Grindstone Ministries. You can contact us through the website. There's a link in the description. If the spirit moves you and you want to pour into our war chest so we can go do pro bono disaster relief work for people who have had their lives destroyed, Grindstone Ministries, go check it out. It's going to be a busy day. It's going to be a very busy day. Just spent the last 2 days, which is why my voice is hoarse, screaming at the lovely people who came to class in Spiro, Oklahoma to learn the fine art of how to not die. It was a really good time. I want to give a shout out to the 30 people who were in the Sunday class and the 24 people who were in the Monday class who came from as far away as Rhode Island, Delaware, Florida, Upper Peninsula of Michigan, Minnesota, the Rocky Mountains, the Desert Southwest, Texas, and everywhere else to come to class. I'm very aware that it is 2024 in Joe Biden's economy, and there are lots of things that you could be doing with your time or your money. And so you humble me when you make the effort to drive halfway across the country, literally, to come hang out, spend a day in class, learn the fine art of how to not die, and let either the creator of the universe piss rain on you all day Sunday while we played in the mud, or Monday allow my brother Jody to spray you in the face with a hose nonstop for hours. I see a weasel. Oh, I'm talking to the internet. What are you doing?
I don't know. I was just wondering why your lights were on, and then I saw you.
Oh, here I am. Good morning.
Morning.
I love you.
Yeah.
Did you sleep good?
Yeah.
Sweet. Fist bump? Awesome. So you snailed me?
Yeah.
Don't snail me, bro. Hey, I got is your Bubba awake yet?
Yeah.
He is?
Yeah.
You see, you did? Great job. Double fist bump. Thank you.
I got an electric toothbrush too.
You got an electric toothbrush? Oh my goodness. Let me see them pearly whites. Oh, they're working great. Awesome. Hey, I'll be in a few, okay?
Okay.
All right.
Your boss not awake yet.
He's not?
Yeah.
Well, don't jump on him. He's old. You might break him. I love you. All right, beat feet. I'll be in a minute. Dad mode. Oh, I hear a cow mooing now. The damn cow heard my voice and it's like, feed me. Feed me. Refuge Medical. Yahuwah is our refuge and our strength. That's where that name came from. Thank you for coming to class. I really appreciate you, boys and girls. Y'all did a great job. We had type 1 diabetics. We had people with COPD. We had people with congestive heart failure. We had people with bad knees. We had teenage girls as young as 13 years old, I'm gonna guess. We had older ladies in powered wheelchairs, all in class. You don't understand, Bear, I can't cause blah, blah, blah. Hey man, I got 20 bad vertebrae and I threw a tourniquet on my leg and Buddy carried my son. who's not a small child. I know. But you know what? Whenever you have your emergency, it's going to be you responding. And so you got to know what you got to work with. And that's the reason we run this scenario-based training. Because I won't be there with you. My cadre won't be there with you. You will be. So you need to know if you have auditory exclusion, and if so, how much. If you have tunnel vision, if you have loss of dexterity, if you have time compression, and if so, how much. You need the reps and sets. You need to know what your hands feel like when they're covered with blood and mud and it's piss and rain and you can't see 3 feet in front of you and there's a motor vehicle accident. You gotta know what you bring to the table. And that's the point of scenario-based training that we do with Refuge. There's a couple dates left at the website, refugetraining.com. The link's in the description. Click the training tab. Thanks, Travis. Click the training tab and you'll find the dates. I don't even remember what they are. You know why? Because I did not sleep good last night. Not exactly well rested. That's okay. We're gonna make it refuge medical, not ripsaw.com. Don't tell my wife about ripsaw. What's a ripsaw? I mean, you could Google it and find out. Refuge Medical in-person training. Yeah, so we've got the Surviving Womanhood class coming up. That's August 11th, which is like birthing babies in SHTF. That's going to be an awesome class. Taught by the combat midwife. Well, yeah, but does she know her stuff? I don't know. She's only taught 50,000 people, including SOF. And then we've got, let's see, in the store, we've got a couple of dates left for July 22nd. The 21st is sold out for Responder 1, Responder 2. If you're coming to Responder 1, Responder 2, if you're coming to Responder 1, Responder 2, then you should definitely bring clothes that you can change into. Yeshua is king, by the way. You could kiss my ass with that apostate prophet comment and go talk shit somewhere else. July 22nd, Spiro, Oklahoma. Bring a change of clothes, because the first half of the class is lecture and hands-on reps and sets. The second half of the class is dirt medicine, and I will absolutely introduce you to the dirt, because that's where dirt medicine happens. So you'll get dirty, and you're going to want some clothes to wear that aren't absolutely covered in filth, blood, and dirt, and motor vehicle fluids, and all of that to change into after class. Okay? Okay. Awesome. What else, Refuge? Oh, we got some new kits out. Bearfacts are back in stock. We got a new travel kit out. You guys should all the way get that stuff. Well, you can. You should, Bill. Get a plane ticket. You can get an Uber from Fort Smith to Spiro. Head students did it yesterday. There's also an airport in Fort Smith. You could land there if you wanted to. Or you could fly into XNA, Fayetteville, and it's like a 90-minute drive from there. Or you can fly into Tulsa. It's like a 2-hour drive from there. So it's doable. Or you can fly into Dallas, and it's a 4-hour drive from there. Whatever you're into, bro. We've been getting some very large bulk orders. What's up, Lamppost? Shaloha. Very large bulk orders. Indicator. You need medical stuff? Get it now while you can. Just throwing that out there. What else? I already told you about Grindstone, told you about Refuge. Caleb House construction is ongoing. Just had an awesome brother donate, I don't know, about $30,000 worth of LVL floor joists for the admin building. So that was sweet. Praise the Most High. Been out there doing a little bit of dirt work. And in the back of this truck, I've got some chainsaws and bar oil and logging helmet and medical stuff. Because It's looking like it's going to be a storm damaged day. Let's talk to the Father. Father Yah, thank you for such a freaking cool life. Thank you for using busted up pieces of trash to be your hands and feet. Father, thank you for allowing us to wake up this morning. I pray that you'd not just get us through this day, but that it would be an awesome day. That you would put us where you need us to be. That you would give us the words that we need to speak. That you would put into our hand what we need to make your will happen today, Father. That you would just use us on the battlefield of life for good today, and that our light would shine so awesomely bright into the darkness, and that the darkness comprehendeth it not. Father, thank you for inexplicably loving us and relentlessly pursuing us, even though we do not deserve it. Thank you for being a good Father, and for making a way for us kiddos to come home again by the blood of Messiah. Father, if there's anything in the sound of my voice that's not of you, I rebuke it in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach and command it to flee. Fill us up with your Ruach HaKodesh for wisdom and discernment, for conviction, and to give us the words that we need to speak today. Father, give us power and authority in the name of Yeshua HaMashiach to be your hands and feet and to stand against the evils of the world. Father, please give us peace that surpasses all understanding, that we could remember to remain vertically aligned rather than get horizontally distracted today. Father, I lift all these people up to you. I lay them at your feet, and I humbly ask that you would protect them today, provide for them today, and bless them today. In Yeshua's name, Amen. We had 2 baptisms after class yesterday. That was super cool. Not bad for an apostate prophet. I love y'all. I hope you have a great day. What's up, Jeremiah? Shalom, brother. I will see you when I see you. Probably, unfortunately, standing in front of something that was destroyed by a tornado with a chainsaw in my hand. Be it the Father's will. Whatever he will have us do today, let us have the intestinal fortitude to do it. Shalom, y'all.